And now this is the time for our last speaker for this session, His Excellency Mr. Mladen Ivanic, former President of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Secretary General, Mr. Maratinos, hosting country, I am first time here in FS, and I very much enjoying this beautiful city, and I am much more, let's say, rich with the new knowledge about the other civilization. Being last means that you are all a little bit tired. So I will try just to say a few words based on the experience of Bosnia and Herzegovina. You know that Bosnia and Herzegovina had a very brutal internal war where Catholics, Orthodox, Muslims were against each other for 4 years. More than half of the population was displaced, more than 100,000 people were killed, and finally, last 20 years, we are not in the headlines. How it happened that after this, we live in a relatively peaceful situation. I, being involved in all these things in the last 25 years, can say that I have some experiences. First reason for that was that the big powers were together. I think that this is the last time when Russia, United States, European Union, supported by Serbia, Croatia, and Turkey, had a common view on that problem. And they worked together. And that's the reason why this agreement was implemented relatively quickly. So my lesson, at least for me, learned from that is we have to make a pressure on the big powers to be together and to think in the same way. Second lesson is you need also the local players to be interested in the peace and not in the war. And for that, we need the pressure of media, we need the pressure of NGOs, we need the pressure of the different institutions. And the third lesson, typically solution is somewhere in between, that there is no real winner, but also no real loser in that game. Because if you have a winner, you have a loser. What the loser will do, will wait the second half of the game to do it. I'm very proud that I'm a member of NGIC because they promoted all these approaches everywhere. But I really believe that the only place where all this can be done is UN. I don't see any possible replacement on the multilateral level of that institution. Everybody will say UN is in a crisis, but I don't see any other option. And I really believe, Secretary General, that it's possible to make pressure and that it's not, you cannot do it by yourself, but all the member states. They have to have a feeling that it's possible, and we all have to make a pressure on really, especially on the big powers and regional powers in the areas of the conflict to behave in a way which is acceptable for all of us. That pressure is something which is needed, and that pressure has to be done especially by the member states. So this was my message, and thank you very much. To be a privilege to be in this society, the group of the very prominent figures. Thank you very much. Thank you.